All right, I'm going to sit here and yell at the computer because I've got to. So this is the second night of Contractor's License Law, and we're going to talk about some things. I asked you to do some things while you were not here. One of the things I asked you to do is get the forms to file for a contractor's license. Why would I want you to do that? Takes the fear out of doing it, right? When you do it just playing around, you realize it's not that hard. Okay, did you notice the experience letter is not really an experience letter? You're getting somebody to vouch for you. So you don't have to have every minute covered exactly, but you do have to have someone vouch for your experience, which is completely different, right? Okay, so that might make it a little easier to do. You know what I'm saying? So you guys have filled the paperwork out now, right? Okay. And when you have something you're not sure about, we'll talk about that tonight. We'll try and talk about it because I'm not sure what goes on it either. But you know what? We've got a video on the Moodle website. Now, we talked about last week how you get on the Moodle website. I want to remind our new players that you guys are going to be in the Moodle website later tonight because I'm going to physically add you. As long as you're registered with the college, I can add you to the class so you can get onto this Moodle website. Now, one of the things on there is video help to fill out the application. You see that? Has everybody watched that? A few people have. That's two or three. Now, I have one more assignment that I intended to give you the first night, and I couldn't do it. I forgot. Okay? I want you all to make a, what I call a tent, a name tent or nameplate. So I want you to take some cardstock, which is just really heavy paper, and I want you to print your name with a computer in the upper third, and then bend it into thirds so it'll sit on your desk, sort of like that right there. There's one now. DK Kalu has his, I'm not supposed to say names because everybody on the outside, I post these on YouTube so anybody can listen if they really want to. So I won't say anyone's name except for a first name or a Mr. or Miss and a last name, but I won't generally use a first and a last, and I'll try and figure out how to edit that and take that out. Okay, so um, what I asked everyone else to do that you guys need to know is I want you to go on the State Contractors License Board website when there's a link here on the web page to get to their website and pull up their application, print it out, and fill it out. And the experience letter. And the experience letter is not an experience letter. Once you read it, you realize, oh, this is just asking me to get somebody. I put down what I believe I have for experience, and then I get some contractor of the same kind to vouch for my experience. That's a whole different thing than having to have uh, pay receipts for all of those hours. You see what I'm saying? So if you once you get that printed out and you're going to fill it out, watch this video on how help to fill out the application. We're not going to watch that here in class, okay? But it's there so that you can go watch it and make sure you filled out the application correctly. It's, yes, you have another week to do that. Okay, so watch the video, and then you'll be able to do it right. Okay, I'm going to go over that right now. So because we have two new players, they need to know how to get into the Moodle website. And how they get there is they click on the LA Trade Tech Community College webpage, and then there are a bunch of little boxes. Let me go there and just take a look at it, and we'll just go to LATTCD. Whoop, LATTC. lattc.edu, the college's website. We're going to go there. Maybe, and maybe not. Come on. No. That'd be funny if it won't open the college's website, wouldn't it? Not to me, it wouldn't. Maybe next week it'd be funny. What? Yeah, it's hard to imagine, but the wind even screws around with internet accessibility a lot. I live out in Antelope Valley, and believe it or not, all it takes for the internet to drop out at my house for the wind to blow about 20 miles an hour, and my internet just doesn't work. Shouldn't be related to that at all, should it? It's on wires. So yeah, it's going to drop out. Okay, and I might as well hit pause because this is not coming up. Okay, so if you type in Moodle, Moodle, .lattc.edu, it'll take you to this page right here. And this is the general Moodle website. It's actually Moodle 2. And you'll notice on the left it has My Courses, a very important thing. And we need the part on the right, which we can't see. And I don't know why. Oh, I know why. No, that's not why. Yeah, that's a little too big. All right, why, oh, why are we not getting the sign-in page? Oh, because I'm already logged in. So I'm going to go ahead and log out because you guys need to see what we're going to get. Come on. So there we go. So this is what you're going to get in this right-hand box that says username. And in that box, you type in your student ID number. Student ID number. Okay? And then down on the password, you type in your birthday and birth month as a 4-digit number. So February is 02. And February 5th would be 0205. So if your birthday were February 5th, which just went by not too long ago, your password would be 0205. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And it might be 0502 if you put your birthday down wrong with the school. So before you quit and give up, try it both ways, okay? So mine is not the same at all. Mine is a completely different kind of password and a completely different kind of, completely different kind of username and password. And it's long and complex in both cases. Okay, so then you sign in, and now it'll take you to this, and you're going to go to My Courses. Now, on mine, we're going to have like just inches and inches and inches of classes because those are all websites that belong to me. But for you, it should only come up with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 5 at the most, of classes that you're signed up in right now, or classes you've been in that have a Moodle website. Okay, so now I'm logged in, and now you'll notice on the left there's a whole lot of classes for me, but for you there'll only be 4 or 5. Okay? And so we're going to go down to the class you're in, which is right on the top, Building Construction Techniques 101, Spring 14. We're going to click on that, and not too surprisingly, we get out of that one. We get our website now, and we start cruising down and looking at things. Now, everybody has gone or should have gone to the reasonable accommodations, and we already have 2 people that should have clicked yes on it. And it tells you that if you do click yes on it, that you need to go see the nice people at DSPS before you come back to class, and both these people have done that. Thank you very much. And then honesty policy. Now, I expect you guys to apply a higher honesty policy than the school's honesty policy. I expect you to give your oath to operate in an open and honest, completely honest way in this class. Okay, and the college now, by the way, sends you emails to a special address that they've assigned to you. Now, you don't know what that is, do you? You might, but you probably don't. So what you want to do is go to this link and find out how to forward your college email to your real email. Or if you like that email address, you can look it up anywhere in the world. I do want to tell you one nice thing about your new college student email address, in that it has what's called SkyDrive attached to it. Anybody know what that is? That is all of the Microsoft programs that you can use for free. But the only drawback is they're in the cloud, and you have to go into them through your college email address to access them. But you also have a in the sky storage space also. Now that's pretty nice, right? Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a big bonus. Okay, so you're getting all of Microsoft software for free plus storage space in the cloud for free. Okay, that's a very good thing. Now, we're going to cruise down here, and it says start here. Yes, sir. You don't have to use Outlook. No, you do not have to do that. It's included for free, by the way. So if you want it, that's okay. Yeah, but no, you don't have to use Outlook to get there. Just any computer, go into your student email address, and you get to use all of that stuff, and it's called SkyDrive. Okay. All right. Now we come down here and we have a syllabus, and I hope it doesn't have the wrong dates on it, but it probably does. But I'm not going to even open this, but make sure that you open that up and take a look at the syllabus. Even if it's got the wrong dates, it's still more or less correct, but I'm pretty sure I changed it and updated it.
I think that's why I found it. I keep one in, I keep changing the dates.
So I don't think that's the one that has the wrong dates. And let's see. We're going to go down a little farther, and we start with some things that you might want to look at. If you wanted to see the whole entire OSHA standard book, you know that that's a big federal regulation book. It's about 1.5 inches thick. Well, you can look at it for free right here. See the OSHA standards online. That's pulling up 29 CFR 1926, the construction OSHA safety standards, and you can look at them for free right there. If you need to buy your book and you haven't done it yet, you can go to LexisNexis, purchase the book. That's the link to LexisNexis. And this is the link to the California State Contractors License Board. And if you haven't pulled up the application and the experience letter, pull those up and print them out. Okay? And I'm not sure we're having an EPA lead class right now. But if it comes up, I'll let you know when it is. It's probably a good certificate to have in your pocket if you can. So tonight, we're going to talk about getting and keeping your license. And some things I asked some of you to find out, except for the people who weren't here yet. I asked you guys to find out some information. What did I ask you guys to find? Who has an answer that I gave you a question for? Back on. DK, what's an answer do you have from a question I asked you last week? One of the most important things, if you're what I call a shoestring contractor, and many of you will start out as a shoestring contractor. In other words, operating with the smallest amount of money you can get away with, because you don't have a lot of money at first, right? So when you have to collect your money, it's very, very important for you to get your money, right? It's a lot more important than when you've got $1 million in the bank, somebody has to pay you a couple $100. It's not nearly as important when you've only got a couple $100 in the bank and somebody owes you a couple grand, right? Suddenly it's very important you to get paid, right? So how much, DK, can you collect in small claims court? No. An individual, $10,000. If you're a sole proprietor, you're a business. What is the limit for a business? No. Very close. Good swing, but a miss. $7,500. So it's better than you think it is. You can collect up to $7,500 as a business. A sole operator is a business. If you have to sue someone, you're a business. Okay, so you're not an individual anymore, you're a business. So the limits are a little lower, but that's okay. That means that you can safely do a job up to $7,500, and you know that most likely you're going to get paid, right? So, yes, sir. We're jumping a little ahead here, but the question was, should you have, even though you're a small contractor, should you have the owner of the property sign a contract? We're going to come to that in another section, but you always, always, always must have a contract. If you don't have a contract, you have no rights at all. You don't have any way of collecting your money. If you don't have a contract and you go to court, it's going to be a he said, she said. I say they owe me this much. The lady that owns the house says, no, he doesn't. I don't owe him nothing. Show me the contract. And the judge is going to say, yeah, show me the contract. And you say, we have a verbal contract. And he says, the judge says, congratulations, that contract's worth everything it's written on. What's that mean? It ain't worth air. Yes, sir. As I said, we're jumping ahead a little bit. But when we talk about contracts, you're going to have a lot of documents attached to this thing. Even if, I don't care if you're just replacing a kitchen, if you're just tearing everything out of a kitchen and putting new stuff in, you're going to write up a set of blueprints, okay? And on the contract, it's going to say, this contract refers to blueprints for, and you give the address of the home and the kitchen thereof. And the specifications for that are in the specifications book. And you're going to create a set of specifications because the owner is going to say, well, I want this, this, and this. You write that stuff down. Oh, she wants this, this, and this. And then she finds out, well, that's too expensive. I don't want that one. That one's too expensive. I want a different one. So you change the specifications, right? And you change the contract price. And the reason we do that is because the first thing we do is we file a lien notice, pre-lien notice. It's got to have money numbers on it, right? Because it's how you CYA. Okay, that's how you cover you. But that's next week. We'll talk about that later. That is, by the way, lien notice, prelim notice we call it, is the most important thing you do on a job because what's it related to? It's related to getting paid and making sure you get paid. For those who don't know, I have a lot of law books at home, okay? I got one book that was one of my biggest law books is How to Do Legal Research. The thing is gigantic. It's like 1.5 inches thick, and it's 8.5 by 11. It's a big book, okay? I've got another one that is something along the lines of advice on how to collect your judgment. This is assuming you've won in court already. This book is 2.5 inches thick, the same size, twice as much material on advice on how to collect your money once it's officially legally owed to you. What is that saying? It ain't that easy to get your money. Okay? So I'm telling you, the most important thing in contracting is getting paid. Okay? Doing the work, knowing how to do the work, nice stuff. Not that important. Knowing how to do the business to make sure that you always get paid, very important stuff. And as we go along, I'm going to advise you to take some more classes besides just this one. This is the law to take the contractor's license test. But there's a couple of them that I'm going to advise you to take because it'll help protect you along the way, like OSHA. I'm going to tell you how to not get blown out of, I'm going to try and tell you how to not get blown out of business. And one of those things is violate a bunch of OSHA laws and argue with OSHA. They will fine you right out of business. Don't go there. And we're going to talk about that as we go. And we're going to talk about business law. You need to take a business law class. Accounting. You need to take a contracting accounting class. We have a business law class here on campus. We have accounting classes. Very important stuff. Does anybody know how to do bookkeeping? Most important thing you're going to do is learn to do bookkeeping. So put that on your list of classes you need to take one of these days soon. Bookkeeping. If you can't keep the books, you better hire somebody. And that's something else I'm going to talk about. There are certain people that you need to hire. What's the guy's name? The windmill guy? Can't think of his name. Thank you. Okay, as Warren Buffett would say, he may not be the smartest man on the earth, but he can hire the smartest men on the earth. You know what I'm saying? And he's not joking. When he wants to find out where oil is that he's going to sink a drill into the earth, he doesn't go try and find it himself. He has shale geological experts do their magic. Tell me where to drill, right? And when he goes to do something else, he has the attorneys draw up the paperwork. When he does something else, he has the CPA. And I'm going to advise you now that the first thing you're going to hire after you've been in business for 11 months and a couple days is a CPA. CPA will advise you on how to keep your books and make the most money and still pay your fair share, but don't pay any extra. Okay? Taxes, yes. Pay your fair share. That's an important idea. You got to be okay with the idea of paying your fair share. You got to pay for that government. You get services you don't realize. A lot of people are getting depending on you to make business, make money, and pay the government so the government can keep giving out all of the services, right? Well, that's okay. But you don't need to pay them anything more than you owe them, right? Well, if you go to H&R Block, you're going to be paying more than you should pay. I shouldn't say that because I'm sure there's somebody that's working for H&R Block would take offense to that. It's just that personally, I went to them one time, the very first time I hired a CPA. Might as well tell you this quick story real quick. And they said, well, you're going to have to write a check for about $900. And I go, oh, wow, $900. I don't know. So a friend of mine said, you know, you ought to go see the CPA. She's right over here. You can hand her your box of receipts and she'll handle it. And I walked in there and I handed her my box of receipts. She goes, you know, I really don't like doing this stuff. I'm going to have my bookkeeper do this. You don't mind that, do you? And I go, no, not at all. Since you didn't hire a bookkeeper, I'm going to subcontract a little bit of this to a bookkeeper, and we're going to straighten this out. She's going to bring it back to me next week, and you come back next week, and we'll sit down and talk. So I came back a week later. She straightened my books out, and she said, oh, by the way, you're getting $15,000 back between the state and the federal. Let me see. Pay $900, get $15,000 back. Hey, either way, I'm paying my fair share because I had put in, let's just say that I put in a lot of money. And in her opinion, I should get a pretty good little chunk back. In H&R Block's opinion, I'll pay a little more. I'm not liking them very much. Okay, that's just my personal experience, so I wouldn't judge H&R Block by my personal experience. I'm just telling you, CPAs are worth every penny. I've been going to that same CPA until just the other day. She died. Okay? And I'm going to go see the guy that bought her business that used to work for her. So it's one of those services that you're not an expert in the tax code and you're never going to be. Go to somebody who is. Okay? And as we go along, I'm going to talk about things like that that will help you stay in business and is not related directly to the law, as it were. So I'm going to tell you some extra stuff, and I hope that's okay with you guys. Okay, so we've already gone over how to fill out the application, and there's a video on the website about LLC or S-type corporation. And I'm going to tell you now that you all think that you're going to be an LLC, right? Limited Liability Corporation. I'm here to tell you, you're not going to do that. My money says as soon as you meet your CPA, she's going to say, don't do that. That's going to cost you $1,500 this year and $900 every year after. And this year, you're going to have to pay another $900 on the $1,500. Why is that? Special fees for LLCs. Really? I don't like special fees. Become something else. Be anything else. Okay. Here we have a link. We're going to talk about people using. Now, I know that some of you have done a job under somebody else's contractor's license. Stop that. Don't do that. That can earn you a free set of bracelets. They're stainless steel, not silver, okay? You don't want that kind of bracelet, okay? And fraudulent use of contractor's license or contracting without a contractor's license. Those are both pretty good things not to do. Okay, let's look at a little piece of this video. Go out of there. This. Okay, so you can see that contractor without a contractor's license could be a sheriff-involved activity, and that's not the kind of activity one will see any of you guys on TV with, right? Okay? And you'll notice these sting operations are all over the place. The state of California has more contractor licensed state board sting operations than any other state, and Los Angeles and San Francisco has more than any other counties. Where are we? Los Angeles. We're the #1 sting operation center in the United States. So guess what? I wouldn't do that if I was you. All right? Now, I'm sure some of you will anyway, and you're going to hope to keep it small enough to keep it legal. We are going to talk about that. If you do keep it under $500 of total labor and material combined, then you can do the job without a contractor's license. But what if you say, well, this job's too big for that, so I'm going to make 2 invoices for $500? Will that work? Absolutely not. That will get you handcuffs. Okay? Writing up 2, 3, 4 different bills for the same job, that's all one job. They're going to put them together, and they're going to put your hands together behind your back. Don't do it. Don't go there. Don't go there. Okay, so we talked about small claims, and so we know the small claims limit now is $10,000 for a person, but as a business, you're not a person. You're a business, which the limit is $7,500. Those will come up later. Now, there are bonds that you must or may need to have. Oh dear. Oops, wrong thing. Let me hit pause. Okay, according to the state contractor's license board, and our book in section 995.140, bond includes both of the following: a surety, indemnity, fiduciary, or like bond executed by both the principal and the sureties. What's a surety? For instance, an insurance company. A surety, indemnity, fiduciary, or like undertaking executed by the sureties alone, and a bond provided for or given in an action or proceeding does not include a bond provided for or given as a condition of a license or permit. But there is a bond that is a condition of getting a contractor's license, a contractor's license bond. And generally speaking, the bonding companies want to get you hooked into using just them, so they will offer you a very reasonable first-time bond for your contractor's license bond, and it's very reasonable. So it's a good offer, and you'll get a chance to do that when you first get your contractor's license. Real quickly, let's talk about the financial requirements. That's a section in your code book, by the way. It's at the very beginning. And what financial requirements are there of an applicant, a new contractor's license applicant? First of all, you have to have more than $2,500 worth of operating capital. In other words, you have to have a bank account with $2,500 in it. Okay? Operating capital is defined as your current assets minus your current liabilities. Also, it's your responsibility to file a contractor's license bond or cash deposit with the registrar in the amount of $12,500. Now that sounds like a lot of money, but a bond is a payment you pay a fee for to have a surety company, a bonding company, put up a bond with a state contractor's license registrar that they will pay up to $12,500 should it become necessary. And you pay a fairly small, reasonable fee for that. However, a bond of qualifying individual is not required if the RMO certifies that he or she owns 10% or more of the voting stock or equity of a corporation in which he or she has served as a qualifying individual. If you have a limited liability company license, a separate $100,000 surety bond is required in addition to the $12,500 contractor bond for the benefit of any employee or worker damaged by the LLC's failure to pay wages, interest on wages, or fringe benefits, as well as other contributions. So where do you obtain a bond? From bonding companies or insurance companies. How long is it valid? Most bonds are good for 1 to 3 years. Okay. What's the total amount of the fees you're going to pay to obtain your contractor's license? Well, let's look at the basic cost, but it's basically going to cost you $480 in fees to obtain your contractor's license for the first classification. This amount includes both a non-refundable application processing fee of $300 and a 2-year initial license fee of $180. Okay, and you must have, once you start business, you must have workman's comp insurance. All contractors are required to present proof of workers' compensation insurance covers as a condition of licensure. You must have it to be licensed. Okay? And how long is your license good for once you finally get it? 2 years from the last day of the month in which it was issued. So if you got it today is, well, that's not a good example. Let's say you got it on the 20th of this month. Okay? So the last day of this month would be your due date 2 years hence, not on the 20th. Okay? All right. Let me find the section on bonds real quick. Okay, we're going to talk about the different kinds of business forms there are. You already know about being a sole proprietor, sole owner, right? You already know what that is. Also, you could have a partnership, right? Where the two of you divide the cost of getting into business, you divide the profit, and you divide the liability, right? Well, I'm going to tell you one thing you're not going to like to hear. Most likely, you do not want a partner. Having a partner in business is more intimate than being married to somebody. So avoid that unless you really, really need to do that, because I've heard people say that it's like getting in bed with somebody that you don't know. Not necessarily a good idea. Warren Buffett said, one who has a partner has a boss. I've heard that, but I'm not sure it's true. But I wouldn't say a boss, but somebody that wants to argue with about how you want to run your business. Because as I see it, that's my business. And I'm sure your partner's going to look at it the same way. So you got to fight from the first day on, in my opinion. So I would avoid that if I were you, but that's just my opinion. Corporations, we're going to talk about an LLC. If any of the members of managers and officers listed in CSLB records for an LLC license leaves their business, you must report the change to the CSLB. So if you have an LLC, anybody that's a part of that LLC leaves the business, you've got to talk to Contractor State License Board right away. Okay. Let's see if I can... Okay, there's a pure corporation. It's a separate legal entity created by the government, by a bunch of people. It can make contracts, be held legally liable, and is taxed. Corporation may raise capital by selling stock to provide investors or to the public. Stockholders are usually not liable for claims against the corporation other than what they've invested. An S corporation. An S corporation. Another type of corporation is an S corporation, and it must meet certain restrictions and can report the business income as individual income. Ooh, what a concept. The benefit is designed to remove the tax consideration from the decision regarding the form of business organization for the small business. Business can operate in a corporate form to reduce the owner's liability, but is taxed like a partnership. Big advantage. Okay, so that's an S corporation. And limited liability company in California is protected similar to that of a corporation, but is taxed differently. Domestic LLCs may be managed by one or more managers or one or more members, and filing the application documents for the Secretary of State and operating agreement among the members as to the affairs of the LLC and the conduct of its business is required. So it takes some extra paperwork. All right. Let's talk about the different kinds of bonds. I said we're going to go over this, so let's talk about the kinds of bonds besides the basic contractor's license bond. There is a performance bond, guarantees the project's completion according to the building plan specifications. If the job is abandoned or the work unacceptable, the bonding company has the option of hiring another contractor to complete the work or settling for damages. Payment bonds assures that the owner has no liens for labor and material and will be filed against the property. So a payment bond is something that an owner might take. A performance bond, generally speaking, is a bond some general contractor or a building owner wants you to give them. They want a performance bond if they don't know you. It's my opinion, and it's just my opinion, that if a company wants a performance bond from me, I want nothing to do with them. I don't want that contract that badly. That means that they may be looking to throw me off the job without due cause and have his brother-in-law come in and finish the job at a much higher rate of pay, as it were, in which he kicks some of the money back to the owner or some friend that might do that for them, and my bond is going to be paying for that. So if a company asks you to provide them with a performance bond, I'm here to tell you that might be a red flag, and maybe they're just honest and they just don't know you. Personally, I take that as a big red flag. Contract bond guarantees both job completion and payment for all labor and materials. In general, unless the bonding company has taken on responsibility for completing the project, the bonding company will not have to pay more than the face value of the bond. Okay, contracts, license bonds, we already talked about that. They're just basically putting up $12,500 for you to get your contractor's license, and it's fairly reasonably priced. Not too bad. Limited liability company surety bond. Oh, that's right. They take another extra fee. They have to put up another $100,000. So that bond is going to be a little more money. A commercial general liability insurance policy. I think that's the one somebody calls an umbrella policy that covers just about everything. And then I think that's the end of the bond list. Yeah, pretty much. General liability insurance. General liability insurance. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but you don't want that right away. Okay, Wikipedia says that a bid bond is issued as part of a bidding process and the surety to the project owner to, in hopes, guarantee that the winning bidder will undertake the contract under the terms of which they bid. Let me give you an example where they might not want to do that. Let's say that they missed something major. They saw a light base and they assumed that it was a small piece of concrete, say 4 feet by 4 feet and about a foot thick, with some steel bars in it. That's still a fairly expensive piece of concrete. That's probably a couple $100 worth of concrete. But it turns out that on a different page, it says that this glide slope indicator light base will be 10 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet with steel bars every 12 inches in every direction. In other words, a cross grid of steel bars, and it's got to be 5,000 pound PSI concrete, which is going to cost you about $10,000. When you realize that you missed that on the bid, you might want to tell the contractor, you know what, I missed something, I don't want to do this job. And he says, but you bid the job, you have to do the job. And you say, sue me. And then he says, I'll attach your bid bond. So that's where that goes. So it's just a thing that says you agree to do the job for what you said you would do it for. Because there are lots of cases where they'll try and drive the price of the job down by shopping the bid around, and then it gets so low that nobody really wants to do the job at that price. Everybody realized, oop, I dropped a page. Let me tell you why estimating is never a pleasant thing. When you're estimating a project, The only way you get the job is you've dropped a page. you, you left something out. Now you got to figure out a way to make some money because you left something out. Or you bid it exactly properly and 5 people underbid you. That's the 2 choices. So bidding is never a good thing. Did I mention I was an estimator for a while? Thought I was going to get an ulcer. Thank God it took up golf. Now, you guys are all skilled in some trade, right? You're supposed to be.
Okay.
So you're skilled in a trade. But how much business training have you had? Little to none. What percentages of business go out because of still trade skills? None. What percentage of business go out of business because of business skills? 100%. 100%.
They go out of business?
They go out of business because of bad business management. And what is bad business management? Money management. You take on a bigger job than you have finances for, that's bad management. Okay? And on that, I'm going to stop the recording for the evening.